What's going on, gamers? So we have an interview here with Peter Moore, as you know. He's been with Microsoft basically since the beginning, all the way past the 360 era, and then he had to leave. Obviously, we know about his involvement with Fable as well, and him being a vice president. He did a good job for what he did. I liked some of the things he said. I liked his vision. And the funny thing is that in this interview, he makes a statement saying that you see right here, I did encourage the battle. PlayStation versus Xbox console war was healthy, but has lost its feistiness, Peter Moore says. The former Xbox boss says times have now changed. Well, obviously. But the war is still there, but it's in a different format. As I told you before, it's not about hardware and exclusives and trying to keep that and compete against each other with that. Both are not doing that anymore. They're both going third party a lot of ways. PlayStation has went to PC big time. They're going to be going to the Nintendo Switch too. Microsoft has went to PC big time, and now they're branching out. And that model, like I said, if you're not coming to me, I'm coming to you, right? Now they're going out being aggressive on the PlayStation platform, and then both are going to target the Switch too. So the competition has moved to, I'm going to outpublish you. I'm going to out content you. I'm going to be a better pro consumer uh, representative for the gaming community, right? And I'm going to make more money than you because this is business and let's get smart now. This is what everybody's seeing now, and these games are too expensive, definitely on the PlayStation side, and they're not a $1 trillion company like Microsoft. Satya Nadella has stepped in, and we know he wants to see Xbox as Microsoft Gaming now and to be rich like the rest of Microsoft. So with that going on, and we also got the cloud war too, right? You see what I mean? And then you got the streaming digital war and all that. So the competition is fierce now and there. And there's even other competitors in that atmosphere. So what Peter Moore did though back then and what he said now, it's like I tell people today, people still want this. It's just that you have to realize where it's at and where the competition is moving at and where it's the most fierce. So like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into this. We're going to get into this interview. We're going to see what he had to say. Paris interviewed him right over here. I asked Peter Moore for his perspective on the Xbox multi-platform strategy. Obviously, he doesn't like that. Phil Spencer knows that a lot of people don't like that because they still want to be in the 360 era, and they still want Microsoft, like, definitely like now more than ever when they have all these games, to lock that on the Xbox and compete head to head with PlayStation. But if they did that, sure, they would sell more consoles, but the amount of money that they would be making doing the strategy they're doing now, from Satya Nadella's view, because he's the head now, as you see, Microsoft Gaming has been there for a while. Yeah, looking at it that way, they're going to make way more money, and the competition is going to be different now. So let's get into this, and then we'll read a little bit of this down here. Then we'll see the video. Okay. In an interview on Danny's YouTube channel, which we know Phil Spencer was on there not too long ago, Moore was asked about Xbox's current strategy of releasing its first-party games and other systems. Moore, who joined Xbox in 2003, we see over here. He also was with Sega before that and EA after. So he has a lot of experience in the industry, obviously. Moore, who joined Xbox 2003 to help it compete with the PS2 and GameCube, then oversaw the launch of the 360. Said that in that era, the concept of console wars was a good thing for the industry because it kept each side in the public eye. Yeah, and ponies were also not what they are now. Now there's a new level of brain cell loss that keeps on projecting. According to Moore, the mainstream press previously blamed all society's ills on video games, saying that they were a waste of time, creating violence, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you say that now, right? But what's going on? What happened now with all that? Yeah. Bunch of hypocrites. Now they come in trying to vampire off of it and invade it. The early 2000s was a phenomenal platform for us to get off the back pages and to get on the front pages and to be taken seriously as an entertainment medium. Moore was notorious for appearing at shows like E3 with game tattoos such as Halo 2 tattoo. He did that back in the days. And GTA 4 tattoo used in an attempt to convince the public that GTA was now associated with the Xbox brand. Moore says these and other PR stunts were necessary at the time for helping to grow the industry. We needed to do a ton of missionary work in those days. And at the same time, we were young enough to have fun and do all that daft stuff that we did and all the stunts he replied. I think the console wars that you're kind of alluding to were healthy for the industry, and I agree with him, and it still is in a different way. Look, I've said it before, certainly. I did encourage the battle because I think gamers love to see Xbox versus PlayStation, maybe Nintendo as well, and I think um, that was a rising tide that lifted all the ships. Now we're going to go into the interview and we're going to see what he says about that. So that's some interesting stuff right there. As I tell people before, it just depends on how you do it. Because you got some people coming here talking about the console war is over. It's like, it's more of a brand war now than a console war. Though that's still there too. It just hadn't completely left, but you just need to realize where it's going. So let's get into this, y'all.
But 2007 was and again my opinion probably the greatest year for Xbox. The reason I bring that up is I want to fast forward to where we are now today, because back then
This year is looking like one of the greatest years for them too. Yeah, credible run coming.
obviously exclusive games and some of the third party deals that were being made, like with Grand Theft Auto, were essential to get people to buy the box. So that was the box for them. Like I remember when Call of Duty, when Modern Warfare came out back then, I just thought of it as being only on Xbox, even though it was on other devices at the time. Obviously, Halo 3 was a big deal that year as well. But I want to talk about now and what Xbox is doing right now, because it is clearly controversial. It is somewhat disruptive to what they're doing. So I'm just curious of your perspective of this multi-platform strategy for Xbox, but still wanting to make hardware at the same time. What's your perspective on that?
Look, the industry has evolved, has matured. I like to think we weren't quite the pioneers, but certainly, we I think gave the industry credibility. We thumped our chest at what was the IDSA in the old days, the ESA, E3 in the early years, the early 2000s, was a phenomenal platform for us to get off the back pages and to get on the front pages and to be taken seriously as an entertainment medium. With cynical press, who again blamed all of society's ills on video games, waste of time, creating violence, blah, 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 all of that. And we needed to do a ton of missionary work in those days. And at the same time, we were young enough to have fun and do all the daft stuff that we did and all the stunts. And I think that, the console wars that you're kind of alluding to were healthy for the industry. And look, I've said it before. We just, certainly I did, encouraged the battle because I think gamers loved to see Xbox versus PlayStation, maybe Nintendo as well. And that I think was a rising tide that lifted all ships there.
What's funny about that is that, like he said, it's something that they encouraged. Like they wanted to spice it up and get those communities growing, and they liked that show, and they wanted to puff it out, and they were all about it. You know what I mean? And in a way, now it's shifted to a different aspect. And also, obviously, yeah, there are some feminine aspects that are in there now that a lot of people don't like. Obviously, I would agree with that as well too. Um, and people want more answers about how is Microsoft going to be competing now against PlayStation. Obviously, I explained what that is now because it's not that mentality that he was projecting now, with Satya Nadella being here because he's going to see it in a different way. But you better believe that they're still going to compete fiercely and they're going to win at what they want to compete with and what is their strength. You see what I mean? You can kind of see that as I've explained before, what they're focusing on. We have to see down the line and see the fruits of that labor like 10 years down the line. Like every year you have to see like where it's leading to, what's going to be going on with the Xbox hybrid Steam model, right? Like if you could get the Xbox hybrid model, get Steam on there, get GOG on there, get EA on there, not EA, sorry, Epic Games on there, and whatever else PC can do. Now your Xbox is going to be like that, and the online will be free, and you'll be able to grab all those PlayStation games or games that are only on PC, they're not even on PlayStation, that will be right there on the Xbox. And with them innovating the hardware like that, you'll see a clear difference between hardware again, and it won't just be similar AMD PCs with a few percentages of power difference. You know what I mean? And then on top of Microsoft having the innovation with Game Pass and just presenting a way better advantage over Sony with that being more pro-consumer and all of that. If they can get that going, yeah, it can be very interesting to see how that's gonna turn out. And then we got this stuff popping up recently about the next gen Xbox could be coming out next year with the next gen Call of Duty and them ditching Warzone and all of that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we want some answers on, and as we get closer, we're going to find out. Same thing with the Xbox handheld, right? So as far as hardware is concerned, they're not going anywhere. They do want to do it, but I think what Peter Moore's going to say too is Satya probably would not want to. It's just about making as much money as possible, and that fight is still over there in the Xbox aspect, but over in the Microsoft Satya world, he's not really thinking about hardware. You can tell he doesn't care about it. He's looking at it in a totally different sense. So that's the split right there between the communities of misunderstanding, and then people will what they will do is when they don't like that, they want to throw all that on Phil Spencer and use him as the scapegoat, and that's kind of annoying to me because it's like well, that's not really how it works, though. Understand how it really works first.
Um, it's different today. And when you see that, look what's happened with the acquisitions or the consolidation, and what Microsoft, and I still say, if they had the choice, would they make hardware? No.
No,
Would they be delighted if they could be a multi-$100 billion entity delivering, content directly to your television, to whatever monitor you choose to play on? You bet.
yeah, they already have it set up like that way. And he said Microsoft, not the Xbox area. This is like I was saying, because they do want that future to be here now, but it's still growing every day. But they are ahead in that for sure.
And in the classically Netflix model, if you will, you just select who's playing this.
Right.
5,000 people playing this. I'm going to jump in right now. No latency, no lag. You're in, and there doesn't need to be a box between you and your controller and the TV set. But still, consoles are, as we're seeing, particularly with Nintendo now, people love their hardware. The acquisition of Activision Blizzard changed things, I think, I know at Microsoft. And so this is not the old days of the console wars and punching each other and trying to steal customers and trying to get market share and build your attach rate.
Right.
This is bigger than that in an economic sense. Has it lost a little bit of the feistiness that the industry, I think, fed upon and grew upon? I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and look, I've been gone from the industry 8 years. I left EA to go to Liverpool in 2017, so it's been a long time. Do I yearn for the old days? Do I look back fondly to when things crop up in my social media feed of this was you 15 years ago, and you see great photos of things in E3? Yeah. But I think we as an industry then position the industry for where it is now. It's different. And yeah, what Microsoft is doing is no longer we're going to get as much content on our singular platform and the PC, and we're going to fight for that, and we're going to pay for that, and we're not going to give it to anybody else. And those days are clearly over, as you can see.
Yeah. Because that's when it was the Xbox only world and the people all in there, Phil and all of them, versus PlayStation in a gaming sense. But now it's Microsoft branding. And now, as he said too, the industry is involved. And in an economic sense, it's bigger than that. So now it's about let's make the most money, right? You see what I mean? So he understood that. He's not saying that what they're doing is wrong. No, he's saying that is what you have to do. You know what I mean? It's like PlayStation has to go to PC. So um, we know that they like the console wars. So that doesn't necessarily ever die inside of them. It's still in Phil Spencer, big time. You know what I mean? It's still there. They just realize that we can't do it this way anymore. So we need to war this way. This is the future, and this is the future war. It's not that anymore. You know what I mean? Though a lot of people are still holding on to that. But the reality is that you have to be what's going on right here, right now. Yeah, you can think about those days, but they're not here. What's here is what's right in front of you right now in this present moment. And that's what we have to get with in order to make the next step and progress. Because you can only do it here. You can't do it there. Those times are gone. You know what I mean? So living in the black and white memories is not gonna help you. You can think about it, but you got to make your next moves right here and right now. And where's the industry at? See, that's what people need to get with and understand. And yeah, it's for some people it's hard to let stuff go, but that's something that only they're dealing with. Well, the world's not going to wait. The industry's not going to wait. It doesn't care. It's just going to do what it needs to do. What's next? And the stronger people will get with that. So, like I'm described, let me know what y'all think. This is an interesting one, and I enjoyed it. All right, y'all. Peace out.